There's power in a drumbeat on a hill above the sea. Power in the voice of a supporter. But it all amounts to nothing. Together we don't sing. There's power when we're not OIC. Any day, go forever. Oh, can't scenery. Valley and mountain, chaparral to the sea. And the colors of our rainbow, sunset, orange, Tory, green. There's power when we're not OIC. SC Lloyd, oh, forever. Someday, North County. Desert to islands, get back on you and me. All our voices strong together as we cheer on our team.
Welcome to the Loyal Locals podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Dyer, back at you another week in our limited time together. Much like Sherman's March to the Sea, the Loyal are marching on with their season, and the end point, unfortunately, is in sight. But we are not going to let that keep us down. They're going to bury us with the USL League Cup this season. And to talk about the upcoming championship run is producer John Cross. John, how are you feeling today?
I'm good. I hear with your little opening there. So are we on the we're winning it out and winning the whole thing train?
Yes, we are. We're going to burn Atlanta, and we're going to cut the head off of the Western Conference.
Right.
Also joining us as our third, he is the chairman of the board games of the Locals, Jerry Ibarra. Jerry, what's up, man?
What is going on? Thanks for inviting me. Always love coming on.
Well, we always like to have you. This has been a topsy-turvy week. I think just in that every week is going to be like this, right? Like now until the end, because every week we're going to talk about how this week relates to the end and the end getting ever closer to us. And I don't know, how do you not talk about it? But I do think that we had a pretty good game on Saturday. You know, it's always nice to do these shows after a win. And yeah, we had a good one this week. We're away this weekend. I think there's a watch party. We'll get into all those details a little later on. But because there are so few of these to come, let's revel and bathe in the glory of just a complete performance from the San Diego Loyal, like nothing we've seen this year, maybe. Just front to back, a great complete performance defensively, in the attack. So I'm going to throw it out there. I kind of just gave you my thoughts. What about y'all?
Jerry, you go first.
That may be one of the best games I've ever seen them play. I thought they were very unselfish. Not that they're like a typically selfish team by any stretch, but on some of those attacks, just the way the even the attackers were giving it up, trying to give somebody else the glory a little bit. I just thought it was kind of a complete game all the way. I know Birmingham certainly had their chances. Coca made some awesome saves, but that's going to happen in any game, right? So I really think that was one of their best performances I've ever seen. And if to keep playing like this, we're going to get buried with the cup.
Yeah, I feel like they were ruthlessly efficient in that match. There was a stat, because I was watching at home, that they posted at one time, and I don't remember what it was. We were up 2-0 at the time in the second half, and we had 3 shots. I don't even think there were shots on goal. We had 3 shots at that point in the game, and Birmingham had something like 10 or something close to that. So we were, again, incredibly efficient. The touches, the passing, the movement on and off the ball was, I think, as everybody said, probably our best game that we have played. And as someone mentioned, I think it was in Discord, I think maybe it was Dylan, but reminds me also of that 3-0 victory we had over San Antonio last year at home. I mean, that was one of those games where you always, that's the one you want to see. You know the team has the potential, and that's what you're always hoping for. And I think the flip side of that, I feel a little bit sorry for the Birmingham fans because I think they're a little bit like us, right? That they're up and down. Sometimes they play really well and sometimes they don't. And they didn't this game, to hurt some of their playoff chances. So, as excited as we were and thrilled with our performance and our play, I know there was some frustration on the other side because, as Jerry said, Birmingham had chances. That game could have been very different. But I would say pretty much everybody on the Loyal, that was a match where I felt we were, even though Birmingham had chances, I never really felt threatened with the way they were playing. They just seemed kind of off, and we looked good. If we
Yeah.
look like that the rest of the way, they will bury us with the cup.
The consistency is something that we've consistently complained about on this podcast, and last week into this week, um, they look motivated. They look focused on what needs to be done this year. There's no next year. Jerry, I'm going to ask you: do you have the any of the stats from the game in front of you or available? I no.
I can pull them up.
If you don't mind, pull them up because I want to talk about the goal scorers.
Sure, 1 second.
But it was really interesting at the end because even when we were up 2-0, there wasn't a moment where like the foot came off the gas, and we saw that at the end of the match, near the end of the match, when Colin Martin was able to get in there. I really wanted Ronaldo Damas to score, and I think it was saved, or maybe it was a rebound, but it looked like it was off the post. And Colin Martin just came in and sniped that thing. Probably the easiest goal of his professional career. But you don't get easy goals if you're not in the right position to get that rebound. And he was there, and gosh, has he scored this year? Is that his first goal of the season?
That's his first this year, yeah.
So it's great to see Colin get on the board.
He had an awesome game.
Yes.
Was, and I think he made team of the week, if I remember saying that. Maybe somebody in the chat can confirm, but he had just an amazing game this last game. It was really, really good to see. Good to see him get a goal. He's good for about one a year. I think exactly that. I think each year he's had one goal. So it was good to see. Certainly excited to see him go up and jump in the stands and celebrate with some family. So that was cool to see. I don't know how well or how many people noticed we were there, but they really played that up on the television broadcast.
Yeah, it was, and I saw Loyal posted it on their socials as well. Yeah, I didn't see the earlier goal. Was it Bodley? Did Bodley score? Was he the first one?
Yes, I believe that was the first one. He did score. I was trying to remember which is which here. Yeah, he did the first one, then Toomey the second one.
Yeah, that was
Bo Diddley in the 18th. Bo Diddley in the 18th minute. Toomey time. Guido with the assist in the 39th, and then Colin, as you were just saying.
Okay. Yeah. So I think for Bodley, we've seen him it seems like that's his like goal scoring shot, like that. I think he's scored like 3 goals from that angle for us this year. Every time he scores, it seems to be, well, he had I think the header in that one game, but coming in on that left side, coming across the goalie, it seems like he likes those shots.
Yeah, that goal was just a great goal all the way around. I forget who passed it to Perez, but it was a great, over the top ball, perfect place for Perez to come in and hit first time. And then Conway did a great dummy, which the defender just read and was able to get a toe on it. Otherwise, it was going right to Moshibon. But then Bodley was back there and put it in the back of the net. And like you said, he's been there on so many occasions to come in at that corner of the box to get a ball that's coming through and put it in for us. I don't know how many goals he has this year. I feel like he's quietly moved up the scoring charts, in the second half of the season.
Yeah, and those are all just like instinct plays, like being in the right place. I think he came in on the attack in a game earlier this year and got one, but yeah, he's just coming up on that left side at the right time and being in the right place. And Toomey continuing his great run of form that every week we mention it. It's been just a great season for Toomey. I think we talk about the future of these players post Loyal. I think the people we've talked about today, Toomey and Colin Martin, and probably Blake Bodley as well, like are going to be some of the more in demand players from San Diego Loyal. They are definitely going to be helping out somebody next year, whether it's in this league or there's another American league that they could possibly play in, but who knows if that
Nisa
happens.
or
I'm not demoting none of our guys are getting demoted.
I'm watching. Sorry,
Go ahead.
I'm watching the Bo Daily goal right now, and Wilkie just mentioned that back heel. I forgot about that back heel. Conway's back heel. To kind of set up the goal. It's pretty sweet.
So I mean that's the attack, but we also have to mention the man of the match, Koke Vegas, who is also having a really good run of form. He's had a good season. He had some mistakes in a few games and let in some really unfortunate goals, but those mistakes seem to be gone. He looks better. He looks, in shape. He looks really focused. Those concentration lapses aren't happening, and I think that's shown over the last several matches with his performance in that just some incredible saves. And I don't know, I don't normally think of Koke as that type of like spectacular save player, but he has had some really incredible saves in the last few matches and Saturday included.
Yeah, the only thing that makes me nervous is I'm generally comfortable with Koke the way he plays as part of our back four when we have possession. But when I see him cross the midfield line, I just like, okay, it's just a little too far.
Yeah, I
All
get
it
a little
takes
nervous
is,
too.
a quick turnover and someone taking a shot. And but we play with confidence, and we rarely, if ever, turn the ball over in a dangerous spot. I think that is part of playing this way. And Nate Miller, when you look at the types of passes that the team is doing and what they're choosing to do, I think they intentionally, when Koke is up, don't try to be cute through the middle necessarily, because if you do lose the ball there, then your goalkeeper is stranded. And I think that's
Right.
part of sometimes playing it out wide and picking and choosing where you're going to play when Koke is playing up so high. So, but when I see him cross the midfield line, I just like hold my breath. Like, okay, get back.
I want him to
That's a little
score. I don't
too
know
far
what
for
you're
my
talking
liking.
about.
Run up on the
I don't know what
attack.
you're talking
Keep
about. I'm
going.
ready for Koke to get his first goal of the year.
Yeah.
Really, he needs to play further up. I'd like to see him get his head on one.
Yep. Head
you know,
across in.
so with this win, we are, as of now, mathematically in line for a home playoff game. As the potential, you know, existence-ending match of this team. And I cannot think of a better gift for the fans of this team than for this team to finish the season strong and earn us that home playoff game in that first round by finishing top four. I don't know if they can, how good. I don't know if they can get up any higher, but I think that home playoff game is something that everybody would really appreciate. Anything that extends our presence in Torero into the fall is what we want.
Certainly, we can absolutely get third. We can move up a little. We have a game in hand on Orange County. We have two games on hand on San Antonio and Sacramento. It'd be hard to catch them, just because I don't know. I have it up here. I mean, we're talking
We can
a
catch
6-point and an 8-point lead. It'd be hard to make that up over our last 8 games. But neither one of those teams have been playing spectacular soccer. I mean, San Antonio has 1 win in their last 5 games. Sacramento only has 2 wins in their last 5 games. So they're both stumbling a little bit. If they kind of lose their form towards the end of the season and we keep the form we have right now, we could make a run. I'd love for us to at least grab a second seed if that's possible. It'll take some help. It's not in our control.
I don't want to start predicting the future and banking on things that haven't happened yet, but that second seed, that would make even a second home playoff game a possibility, assuming things pan out mathematically, which of course they always do in playoff soccer. So speaking of the future and having games in hand, let's talk a little bit about this weekend's matchup and what the plan is, because I think there is a special release, maybe a one-off beer coming out.
Yeah, we have we're playing Charleston Battery, which also are playing quite well right now. So it'll be a tough test for us as we go in there next week. Let me just double check because I had it up here. Yeah, they're sitting 3rd right now in the Eastern Conference. So,
this is what we want. This is what we want. I don't want to go out playing a bunch of cupcake Eastern Conference teams, your Hartfords, your Miami's. I want to go out beating the best. And if they're in 3rd, that's fine. We'll beat their 3rd seed team right now. That's in the cards. That's in the plan. Whenever we drew up what was going to happen this year.
And then the kickoff, since it's on the East Coast, is going to be 4:30 our time. And the watch party, my best understanding is this is supposed to be an AleSmith watch party this weekend and the release of the Loyal beer.
Sweet.
Yes, this is the first. Now there was a locals beer in was it the first season, the second season, at Creative Creature in Santee, El Cajon, somewhere in East County.
I was trying to
right?
remember if that was
season 1, season 2,
second season. I don't know. Maybe
it must
somebody
have been second season, right? Yeah. But this is a whole different ballgame. We talk about AleSmith, one of the Mount Rushmore San Diego breweries. Everything they do is pretty good. So I'm really excited to see what they come out for the team. And if this is just a brewery only release, are they going to be in cans? Are we going to be able to bring some home?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's AleSmith is good. We had a watch party there earlier this year against Miami FC, like we just mentioned. It was a pretty good time. That party, it was a win. I think that always makes them a little bit more fun. But yeah, they gave us basically that entire upstairs area in the tasting room. It was great.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I would imagine it's going to be the same setup as last time. I'm not 100% sure about that, but that would be my best guess.
Yeah, it's a great spot.
I also wanted to ask you guys, since we are doing well, and do you think we'll get another great soccer article in the UT this weekend if we win again?
So, okay, let me just say, I saw some of the conversation in the Discord. You know what? I people complain when San Diego Loyal isn't covered in the UT. And then when they are covered in the UT, people complain. So I understand that, maybe we don't like the way that Loyal is mentioned only hand in hand with Wave, right? It's not a story about Loyal. It's always a story about soccer, right? It's never let's cover this team. It's always in this comprehensive like sports coverage, which is can be frustrating. I think, um, but whenever you're working like at the paper, right? It's you're writing for a very broad and general audience, an audience that may or may not know anything about your sport or your team. Now it is the sports section, so you assume people are coming in with a little bit of knowledge, but I tend to have different expectations of the type of coverage you're going to get in like the UT versus what you're going to get from like John Morrissey, right? Like, um, John is writing for US Old Dorks, and let's just call we are what we are. People who follow this league, it's a very specific audience that you're talking to, and in the UT, it's not. So I'm a little bit. I wasn't as bothered by Mark Ziegler's article as some other folks were. I certainly did not go and insult him on Twitter and get blocked by him. But if you do go and look at
It's
his
not
tweet,
difficult.
if you go and look at his tweet, he blocked people, but like you can still see the tweets that got them blocked, which is kind of funny because it doesn't remove the tweets from your replies. It just means that you don't see the replies to your own tweet. So you can go and read everybody's tweets if you want to see what got them blocked. It's kind of funny. But yeah, I will say that compared to previous seasons, um, I don't know if it was an intern that they had doing it, but there have been gamers in the UT. So a gamer is like the story that a sports reporter writes, usually in the press box at the game. You'll be writing it throughout the game and kind of adjusting it. That way, when the game is over, boom, you have the gamer up and you've got the story up. So there have been San Diego loyal gamers published in the UT this year, which is a far cry from what we got in previous seasons. So, all in all, uh, much better coverage of the team from that outlet. And the TV stations, they've done features on the supporter group, but they're not exactly doing all they can to cover the team either. So that's my bit about the coverage. I'm interested to hear what y'all think.
Wow, that was you are way too kind. I'm usually the one who is kind of, all right, let's take a step back
Kind of
here.
voice.
I mean, it's not
And
great. It just didn't bother me. I guess. Like, I'm not saying that let's give the guy the Pulitzer for soccer coverage, but I mean, tell me, what was it that was so bothersome to you?
I think the history with Ziegler is, to me, he's absolutely tone deaf about the soccer community. I understand what you said. He's writing for a bigger audience. I get that. But I think the frustration comes when, yeah, you're writing for a bigger audience, but you don't do anything to help the wider audience understand any of the soccer culture. The backhanded compliments in there, or the take, like for Wave especially, his attitude, like they're still celebrating, but after a horrible World Cup. Well, maybe horrible World Cup for the US. What about all the other players they had that were in the World Cup representing other countries? It's just it strikes me as a very American way, one, of looking at sports, and a total disservice to the soccer community as to what's going there. And I think, I forget who said it, it's one of the Wave players. It's like, soccer fans are the best in the world. They're with you through thick and thin, whether you win or lose. And you want to see a perfect example of the opposite. Look at what's going on with San Diego State football right now. I mean, you can't get people to the stadium or stay for a game. And, in other situations, especially in the US, in soccer culture, it's very different the way people approach the game. And I find Ziegler to be absolutely either tone deaf to what's going on, or intentionally writes the stories in a way to not be helpful, because I know he's had some beefs with people within our soccer community, and I don't think he's a bad writer. I've read this stuff before. I think he's a good writer. I don't think he should be covering soccer. Again, it's either tone deaf or it's intentional, and especially with his tweet. I think the tweet was the worst part about the whole thing, worse than the article.
Yeah, I'm reading it right
Those are
now.
my 2 cents.
Oh, you're just now reading it?
Guys, I've never read anything from Ziegler.
I don't read. What is this?
I barely know how to read.
Words.
So I just pulled it up right now. I'm looking at it.
I do agree with you, John, because I see, or I look at everything like specifically like how should I be aggrieved as a loyal supporter. But yeah, the World Cup thing, yeah, that is true. It is international players on the team, not just from the US. So yeah, sometimes you do just maybe have blind spots, right? And that seems like maybe a bit of a blind spot when it comes to both the women's game specifically.
Yeah, I think it was more insulting to the Wave than it was to us, actually, that article. Anyway, how about for that first game, I wanted to ask both of you, did you guys get the player cards, and what did you think of them, since I didn't make it? And Jerry, I see you have the baseball jersey on, so I wanted to
So you know what I did? I got the cards, and I'm stoked, right? I go and I've never done the man of the match presentation before because I played drums, so it's like, I don't want to leave my drum until the game's over. That's the whole thing, is that you play until the end. But if you play until the end, then you can't go down on the field and the man of the match, the growler. So I had to be pulled off of my drum and drugged down there. No, I went. And Coque Vegas was man of the match. I was very excited. So I got my card from the pack that I got when I got to the stadium, and I didn't I just opened the pack and I looked, right, and the top card had it was like a greenback with a loyal crest on it. And then I saw the Coque card, and it was just like a picture of Coque, and it was like white, like half the card and then white on the bottom. I was like, okay, this is what they are. I handed it to him, and he signed it for me. I was like, freaking sweet. I got my card autographed by Coque. I got home, so excited, and I looked on Discord, and Paul had posted his autograph, and it looked like a different card. And I was like, well, what? I had Coque sign the back of the card, is what happened. So I doused all of my excitement and realized that I had the guy sign the back of the card, and the front of the card is.
I wonder if he knew.
Probably not. I was like the first person to shove a card in his face. I was literally the first one, and so yeah. I am now in search of a Coque Vegas autograph card with the signature on the front. If anybody has one, I've got a trade proposal for you. What about you, Jerry? You get your cards?
I got my cards, but like you said, I'm too busy drumming to do anything about it. But I don't know if you guys noticed, but Camden Riley came into 109, right at the beginning of the second half, and you guys know Matthew Buse? Yeah, he stands behind me. As I bought this during the half, and I'm playing, and I asked Matthew to put the shirt on me while I played. I don't want to lose the beat, so I'm playing with one hand. I'm putting my sleeve in, and then I switch hands. And I got.
Oh yeah, we could tell. We heard it. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the little when I missed the beat right there. And then I saw Camden come down. And I'm trying to get him to sign my shirt while I'm playing drums. I don't want to lose the beat. I'm like, yo, Cam. And he had he's looking at me like, what the hell is this guy trying to say to me? I was trying to tell him, sign my shirt, but I couldn't get him to sign my shirt. But yeah, I know what you mean by never being able to go down there to present the crowd. I did it once for Coque too. So yeah.
I think, I don't know.
The sacrifices we make for you.
I don't know who keeps track of this sort of thing, but it's either Coque or Guido who has been the most man of the match awarded player in the team. Who has the most mans of the matches? Uh,
Of
it's
all
like
time,
attorney.
or-
I think the plural. It's like attorneys general mans
Yeah,
of the
attorneys
match. It's
general.
is the plural there. I don't know. It might be Koge because it seems like we've given it to him. Definitely this season. I think he's got it running away. But all time,
Of
I'm
all
just
time.
curious.
That's a
Yeah.
good question.
Yeah, I don't know about all time. I look, and Koke looks like he's won it 3 times this year. I'm pulling it up right now.
That's another thing too. I never get to vote. 'cause
Keto
I'm
has it
playing drums.
once, but I only have the 2023 in front of me right now.
I wanted to give it to Colin this time, but like I said, I never get to vote.
Yeah, I don't vote either. Much like in our democracy, I just
I
don't.
never voted an election before.
I do vote. Nobody get mad at me.
So do
I just don't vote for
So,
man of the match. I'm
Jerry,
not on
how
my
do you
phone
like the
during the
shirt?
game.
How do I like the shirt?
Yeah.
So I was there for setup, and somebody told me like, "Oh, you can run over there and reserve one because they know that we leave for a while, whatever, and come back later." So I reserved my spot, and then like got back for the, I was waiting in line to get it right before the second half, and I felt the material. I'm like, "Oh, am I really gonna drop $100 on this?" Like I wasn't too crazy about the material at first, but now that I've worn it like 3 days straight, yeah, it's pretty awesome. I wish I had gotten Cam's signature on it. No, but it's pretty great. I love the colors. Yeah, it's just a basic baseball shirt. It's got the crest down here. I don't know if you guys seen the back yet.
It does look good, and I'm kind of reminded like
myself.
I've seen people wearing that one a lot, and I've seen obviously the basketball jersey, and I'm a little bit kicking myself for not getting the basketball jersey, even though I have enough stuff already.
I don't have the guts for the basketball jersey, so
yeah, the baseball one might be the next regret because they do look pretty good. Did you get yours, John?
No, I'm not. I just do the soccer jerseys. I guess I'll leave it at that.
So I don't know if there's another big merch drop to come, but there is probably a big fire sale to come. I don't want to encourage anyone not to get your stuff now, but I'm pretty sure that things will be discounted shortly, or maybe towards the end of the season. Probably a pretty sad day. I imagine that sale day at the store is going to be like a wake.
Speaking of merch stuff, did you guys see the new kit that Olive and York dropped this last week?
I did not buy the kit. I bought the t-shirt, so that should be here in time for the watch party.
Jerry, you have not seen that?
Do you have it?
All
Can
right,
you pull
well,
it up?
I am looking it up
give me
right
a second
now.
to pull it up here.
Well, John's going to put it on the screen here, Jerry. You're going to get the whole shebang. But Olive and York, of course, the kind of the custom kit maker. They did the locals kit, and they do kits for the supporter groups. They did an MLS shirt for San Diego, a kit and a t-shirt. Which John is pulling up shortly.
I'm trying, yeah.
Drum roll?
Okay, let's try. Give me about 10 more seconds.
I just don't want to spoil it for Jerry. I want him to see it.
Man, I'm like missing out on everything.
So this is just going to be.
This is just adding to the suspense. This is great podcasting.
I think John's doing this on purpose.
All right, here we go. We're gonna full screen it here.
There we go.
Oh wow!
The San Diego money grabbers in a beautiful. That's not Tory green. It's like a lime green with $100 bills on it.
Seen that one.
I don't know how many they're going to sell, but for a gag, it's pretty good. And there's also t-shirts if you don't want to spring for the whole jersey, which is what I did. Novelty clothing, I think, is usually a one-time wear sort of thing.
And there's this one as well.
Whoa.
That's the one I
Okay.
got.
The Money Grabbers FC. As far as I know, not in contention to be the MLS team's name. They have not announced their name yet, so it's still possible, technically. I doubt they're going to go with it. I believe the debate is still, do they put the football first or the San Diego first? I've heard this has been said over and over again by team representatives at various meet and greets. So those are your choices there. A lot of variety and personality in MLS, as
Originality.
a lot of San Diego soccer fans are going to get to learn about. Did So I know, Jerry, you're at the game, but there were, I think, some folks that were able to go up to LA during the Harlem Globetrotters World Tour of MLS stadiums. This is the Inter Miami taking Messi and just beating all of the MLS teams up. I guess it was a thing, right? Like there was a bunch of like celebrities there and famous people, other famous people, and maybe some other pro athletes. And I think Christian Pulisic tweeted, hey, all of you celebrities are welcome to come and support the U.S. men's national team anytime.
I don't know. This goes with our. I think when you're a soccer fan, you kind of walk this balance a little bit about how we do things in the US in terms of sports, which this is very common, right? A big event kind of match. And frankly, any match with Messi right now is a huge event. And this one in LA, so now you have all these celebrities there. We do that. We do that for Super Bowls. We do that for all kinds of things. Talk about all the different celebrities that show up. But trying to balance that side of, what we do typically here in the US with I will phrase it how I would like to see it happen in terms of our sport in the US and treat it a little bit more like it's done around the rest of the world. This I don't everybody keeps saying this is going to be great for soccer in the long run in the US, and I get more and more disgusted by what I see with this. Well, it's like, oh, it's going to bring in new fans. And you go to many of the stadia around the US, and it's just full of messy fans.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure they're soccer fans as much as they are messy fans. And
Well, even if they're soccer fans, they're not MLS fans. They're not. The person that goes to see Sporting KC when Inter Miami is in town wearing their Argentina number 10 jersey. They're not going to come back the next week when they're playing freaking FC Dallas. Like,
nope.
You're not creating new fans for MLS. The thing is like there are a lot of soccer fans in the United States. It's like one of the top TV markets for the sport in the world. There are a ton of soccer fans here. It's ridiculous that the common idea, the line of thinking is that we need to grow the sport in the U.S. The sport's huge in the U.S. Like, I don't know how many kids freaking play soccer. It's crazy. A lot of kids play soccer. Every school has a soccer team. Everybody watches these games, get huge ratings. But the thing is that they are not fans of American soccer.
No.
American professional soccer doesn't have a lot of fans. The Premier League has a lot of fans. And, probably more than any of the other European leagues, because that's where the best football is played, right? Like the Mexican League has a lot of fans because people follow their team, and it's a much more ingrained soccer culture. But it's hard to get that kind of culture going with 30 teams with FC in their name or at the end of their name, depending on whether they put the city first or the football first. It's really it's like running on a treadmill and expecting that you're eventually going to finish the lap. You're on a treadmill. Just because you start running faster, you're still not getting anywhere. Just because you bring in Messi, you're not doing anything for your league. how about you populate these teams with other players that people recognize their names? What if other players with names that maybe people have heard of before come and start to play? Then maybe you grow your league and people start, following MLS. But they're only showing up because you brought in Lionel Messi, the best player in the world, probably the best player literally ever. And yeah, people are coming out, but if anything, it cheapens the game in the US. It doesn't grow it.
Yeah, it's gimmicky. I wouldn't be bothered as much if it was just a straight signing, I want to play in Miami. But no, it's like everybody in the league's chipping in to pay for a salary, right? I don't know. Gimmicks didn't work in the NASL. We saw what happened to them. I don't know. It's just, I thought the MLS was beyond those sorts of things, but
yeah, but they're raking in the money.
But it's not happening with growth, like Andrew was saying. At least.
Well, yeah. What happens in 2 years when Messi's literally 40, 41 years old?
Yeah.
And can't play soccer anymore. I don't think he's going to come and play for the Sockers like Landon Donovan did. I think he's going to, what happens to Apple's investment and MLS's investment whenever Messi's no longer here? I mean, Gareth Bale didn't sell these kind of tickets. I mean, he did great. Ibrahimovic, I mean, I loved his time in LA. I mean, that is the only thing that made me care about MLS was his antics. I was much more interested in what he did in MLS than what Messi's doing because it was just much funnier.
Yeah.
See, and I think that our comments here kind of go along with, for me, my problem I have with this. It's not the signing of Messi. I think it's fantastic that he's here, but the way it's treated and handled. And like you just said, Andrew, you like the antics of Ibrahimovic. So it's more about these individuals than these teams connecting with their communities. I hope that our San Diego MLS team is successful. I hope they are able to connect with the community in a way that's even close.
Come on, John. Didn't you know that Messi went and shopped at Inter Miami sponsor Publix in a totally not staged, totally real thing for one of the richest athletes in the world to do, buy their own groceries at a Publix? Talk about community. Come on, man. You're not serious, are you?
You're right. I stand totally corrected. I take it back.
So I guess that's the Messi, but we're talking about it, and we're probably going to talk about it next week, right? The Messi Minute will probably be a regular thing on every soccer podcast, as long as he's here. So I guess they're getting that out of it for sure.
All right, I have one last thing that's not really about our SG, but it's about USL Championship, and I was curious what you guys think of this. Have you guys seen this? The promo that the Las Vegas Lights are doing on how they love Oakland sports teams.
I mean, that is hey man, that's a 3-pointer at the buzzer. That's a dagger. That's a dagger from half court. You remember when what's his name? Damian Lillard hit that shot a couple years ago to close out a playoff series, and he just kind of stood there mean mugging the camera when all of his team was going nuts. That's such an own. That is such an own. I mean, it's dirty, it's mean spirited. That's perfect. That is such a perfect own.
Wow.
Oakland Roots, a much more interesting team. I like their fans. Las Vegas Lights, a team that is really not what you want to see in USL. They really have a minor league baseball approach to their product. They signed a J6er, which I guess we did too. But I mean, I gotta hand it to him. This is great. I mean, we talk about shit talking. This is great.
You like this promo?
I mean, I wouldn't like it if I was an Oakland Roots fan or an Oakland A's fan or a Raiders fan. I mean, This is mean. I mean, but in that sense, like, this is great. This is like going for the jugular. Like they went there.
Yeah.
Like, this is brutal killer. Like, bravo.
All right, well, I'm going to offer an alternate take. um, yeah, I have a huge problem with this.
Sure.
Mostly, it's only done and set up this way because the Raiders are there now, and the A's may be going there. And I think it continually feeds into this culture we have in US sports about owners picking up and moving their teams somewhere else, which I absolutely loathe. I I get the own on that part, but because of the nature of this and it specifically has to do with owners picking up and moving their team to a better location, I just I cannot stand that. It's why the main reason why I haven't been to a Wave match because of, well, there's other things with Burkle, but the fact that he picked up a team that was supposed to be in Sacramento and moved it to San Diego. I just I have a fundamental problem with celebrating ownerships and rich billionaires picking up a team that is beloved in a community and just plopping at someone else. So for me, I hate this. I don't like this at all for that very specific reason. Yeah, it's a big own and it's like you said, kind of a minor league sports, minor league baseball type of promo, but because of that nature of billionaires picking up and moving teams and ripping them out of a community, this is one I can't get behind at all for that. So I was just curious if how other people saw it because it really rubbed me the wrong way when I saw it.
I have a
No,
lot
I
of
feel so bad for A's fans. Like,
so
when
do
I
I.
was a kid, in getting into like baseball card collecting, this is 1989, 1990. This is when Jose Canseco and Mark McGuire were both in Oakland, and like these were like the cards everybody wanted to pull out of packs. And like the A's were just, they were never like a big team, but like for a 10-year-old like baseball card collector, I thought the A's were like one of the premier teams in baseball because my relationship with baseball was purely through like buying baseball cards at HEB. Like, so I thought the A's were huge. I thought they were like a massive team. And it's that community, like people from the Bay, like you're either like a Giants fan or you're an A's fan, and it's very much like part of your identity. It's just like in Chicago with the White Sox and the Cubs. Uh, you know, it's it sucks that that this guy is doing this to this team. They've had these protests, and all the fans show up to the game, and then they all went quiet. Like, the fans are completely powerless in this sense, and it's not that it's a better location or a better community for the team to play in. It is just fewer regulations, less red tape, and easier to get a building built in Las Vegas than it is in California. I don't know what the environmental laws in Nevada are, but in California, as we've learned in San Diego, it is incredibly difficult to get a stadium done. And if you do get it done, like in LA, you're in, like, I don't know how much that stadium is, well north of $1 billion, maybe even multi-billion-dollar at this point. Uh, it's crap. It's crap, and it has nothing to do with the fans and everything to do with ownership looking to just have a bigger margin, I mean, even the worst teams in baseball make money. They're profitable because MLB shares profit. So, like, even if your team is dog shit and at the bottom of the standings at the end of the year, you are making money. And if you don't pay players and you don't have a big payroll, then you get to keep more of that money. And there's like this incentive for your team to be terrible. It's literally like that movie Major League, right? Where like she wanted to lose so that she could move the team. And it's really unfortunate that this team is, I mean, the Raiders, I mean, I don't give it. I mean, the Raiders, I mean, that is a toxic culture and toxic fan base. I'm not even. They can be in Vegas. I feel like it doesn't matter where the Raiders are. It's going to be what it's going to be. But the A's is something different. I think the A's really do connect to that community. I know, Jerry, you wanted to say something. Sorry.
Oh no, I think a lot of I have a lot of family connections with Oakland, so they're completely devastated. I just lost an uncle, as some of you know. He's from Oakland. He was a famous local drummer over there. He's the one that taught me drums. Yeah, it just sucks. I mean everything you said, Andrew. It sucks that it seems like billionaires can do whatever the hell they want. And yeah, like my cousins and my uncles, it's such a huge part of their identity, and it's just, they're devastated. They're heartbroken.
Yeah, and it's not like they're just going to cheer for the Giants. Can you imagine? Like,
Never. Sorry, Taylor. I know you're listening.
But I think that is part of the Americanification, if that's a word here, of
it's the
of
Las
sports.
Vegas
now?
vacation. It's the Vegas vacation. I mean, it
Well,
wasn't
is
that
that
long ago that everybody said pro sports couldn't exist in Las Vegas because of gambling and like the integrity of these games. Like, we can't have the NFL in Las Vegas. Like,
Integrity.
there's the conflicts with betting, and like it just won't work. You can't have these. And I think the hockey team was the first one there, and then the Raiders, and then now it looks like the A's are going to go. And I mean, I think these big sports leagues have really thrown up their hands, thrown in the towel on sports betting, and now they're trying to just get in on the action. Which who knows where that's going to go? I don't gamble.
Well, I know it's just anecdotal evidence, but as a lot of you know, I'm a high school teacher, and a lot of my students, they know a dozen or so NFL players, but they don't follow teams or they don't know anything. They watch highlights and they know players and they know a lot of their social media that they do. But it's this, I mean, I think this is what I dislike about a lot of, not all of our US sports, but a lot of our US sports have turned more to promoting and idolizing individuals. And it doesn't matter what team they go and play for. I'm a Tom Brady fan, right? And wherever Tom Brady goes, that's now my team, rather than, again, having that team connect to a community, which is primarily the way soccer works around the rest of the world. And that is probably my constant frustration in this country about, like, why can't we have that? And I know a lot of that has to do with US soccer, but that's a side conversation. But my other thing is, I hate this idea that a billionaire can just pick up a team that has existed somewhere, maybe forever. Its whole existence has been in this community. Pick it up and go someplace else because.
So they can make it feel.
I mean, the Dodgers left Brooklyn. I mean, that was the 1950s.
Yeah, that's always happened. I mean, the A's were.
Even my beloved San Antonio Spurs started as the Dallas Chaparrals in the.
That I did not know.
yeah, the Dallas Chaparrals, and they relocated to San Antonio and became the Spurs. So, it happens, and it's been happening for a long time. I think right now it's just the veneer is totally gone of like any level of community, and this. Just to bring it back full circle, this is why San Diego's USL expansion team called themselves the Loyal, because the Chargers left, and it left a scar in a certain portion of like sports fans in San Diego. Not me, because I didn't like the Chargers. I didn't care about them, but you can't deny that like people were like hurt when the Chargers left. And whenever they were trying to decide a name of this club, this idea of loyalty and being loyal to the community was in the forefront of that, and that's why we got what we got. And even that can't survive. Gosh, this, we started off so positive. I feel, I was really excited about winning and about going on the road and winning against Charleston and getting a home playoff game and the way the team's playing. And now I'm just super depressed again. So I'm.
All right, well, let's go back to what you said at the beginning. We still got these home games. We know
Yep.
exactly what we have to do and these watch parties, and let's go and enjoy the ride and celebrate all the moments we have left with this team.
So let's hit the schedule for Saturday one more time. I don't know if we have any other important dates. There is and if you're still with us an hour in,
If we haven't
there
lost
is
you with all the other
a
talk.
big away match coming in Vegas, the last match of the regular season. I know a lot of people are planning on going to that. We talked about this last week on the show. There was an email, a survey. There is a block of rooms there right there off of Fremont Street in downtown Vegas, which is probably, in my opinion, a better place for a group to stay than the Strip. Just
agree.
because of how easy it is to just walk out of your hotel and being a huge street party. It's shaping up to look like an all-time away trip. So if you haven't ever gone on a road trip or an away trip, the Phoenix ones or even Orange County, you haven't gone, this Vegas trip is going to be, I can't make it, but I know this thing's going to be a blowout. It's the last one. It's the last regular season match. It's probably our last time playing in Vegas. And just the critical mass, the sheer number of people I've seen that say they're going.
It's going to be epic.
I know. I'm really upset I can't go, but it's okay.
I almost took Monday off because I just wanted to rest.
You might need it. You might need it. Fremont Street is just, oh my God. Yeah. If you get a drink on Fremont Street, I feel like they just pour it double. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm landing early Friday, taking off late Sunday.
So that's in October. So you'll want to check the Discord for that. But much closer, Saturday, Smith. John, you said the game kicks off at 4:30 because we're on the East Coast.
Is what it
so
is, yeah.
You might want to plan for a little time ahead of that to get there and get your table and get comfortable and get parking. Parking was a thing. Last time. Smith is a popular place with not a very large parking lot, so carpool if you can. And it should be a great watch party with Smith brewed loyal beer. It's probably going to be pretty good.
Wait. Does anyone know what kind it is? Did we talk about that? Like, what type of, is it like an IPA? Do we know yet?
I saw them. They posted pictures of them trying it at some of the team folks trying it. It looks like a pale ale or an IPA. It's definitely a pale, a straw.
I'm gonna drink it anyway. I don't even know why I'm asking.
A straw colored beer. I don't know. It could be a Pilsner, but I mean, I would imagine it's probably a pale ale or an IPA. It is San Diego after all. I don't think they're going to be doing anything too off the wall.
I think San Diego needs another IPA. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Taylor said it's an ale, not an IPA.
Yeah, Taylor just chimed in the comments. It's an ale. Okay.
Well, I mean, there's several kinds of ales, Taylor. I mean, I don't have to tell you this.
Any more specific, Taylor? Just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, Guinness is an ale. Come on. So, yep. Okay, that's Saturday. Do we have any other SG business we got to hit, John, or are we
just a couple quick things. One, for Saturday, there are rumors that there might be karaoke afterwards after the match. So some people did that last time. So you may want to.
Still recovering.
We should do box karaoke in Convoy.
Those are fun.
You just rent the room and you don't have to share the mic with a bunch of strangers. Yeah. That's the best way to do it.
And then just a reminder that we got the foot golf tournament coming up, and all the proceeds for that go to help support Rady's. That's coming up on the 16th. So I don't know. There's limited spaces. I have no idea how full they are with their team. So if you haven't formed your team yet, get your team together. Go to the shop online and get registered for your team. That's coming up on the 16th. And those are the big things. Wanted to make sure we get out before we close up.
Thanks, John. Jerry, where can people find you, sir?
Just on the Discord, and if you have my private number, just hit me up. If you want, especially if you want to play board games. Just kidding. Just the Discord. I'm not on social media anymore. I don't even read Mark Ziegler.
Well, you're a better man for it. I promise. You're good. That's good for you. Good for your mental health.
Yeah, it is.
John, where can people find you?
Best place to find me now is on Discord at John Cross.
All right, and I'm everywhere. Hit me up on Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads. Not Facebook, but you can hit me up on LinkedIn. We can connect and network. And we'll be at Elsmith on Saturday, and then back again next Tuesday for another Loyal Locals podcast. So thanks so much, everybody, and let's go.
Any day or forever, oh, Constantinery, valley and mountain, chaparral to the sea, and the colors of our rainbow, sunset, orange, glory, green.